A coffin was floating towards him with the biggest waves of the sea. Opening the coffin, he finds a dead lady and a baby who was still alive. That man catches that baby, taking pity on him. He takes charge of that baby and gives him the name Perseus. Now that baby was growing up. That man thinks, why did we live in another place, going there? Then he leaves with his family to explore a new location. They observe while passing away that some people are throwing a big statue into the sea. And that statue was of Zeus, who used to call himself a god of heaven. There is created chaos in the seawater. That status sinks into the sea. And many monsters begin to attack them, appearing from the sea. Then those creatures are united into one. It is looking like black smoke. Actually, it was an underworld god named Hades. Afterward, he attacks that man's family. Consequently, his family is ended with a shipwreck. Fortunately, Perseus survived. But it was his family for him. He says, after being dejected, I will avenge my family at any rate. Zeus wanted his worship. So he had made some statues so that his worship may continue. But people had started to perish his temples and statues. Now they had crossed the limits which were going to increase the wrath of Zeus. They had thrown his statue into the seawater. Then it is witnessed that Hades and Zeus meet face to face. He had come from the underworld. He says it is the duty of human beings to worship us. So what are they doing? They are betraying us. Hades asks Zeus, I may create fear among the people with my power if you command me. They have been strayed and they will begin to worship if I scare them at once. Zeus wished to tackle all affairs with peace. But he had also no other choice but to tackle the human beings. So he permits Hades to do it. Then it is noticed that those soldiers abduct Perseus, who had thrown Zeus's statue into the seawater. They bring him into a palace where the king and queen celebrated that the statue of Zeus has been dropped into seawater by us. And we have triumphed. Human beings are superior. Their daughter princess says, coming there. It is unfair. We should not be selfish as such. Then the queen says to her, you know nothing. Then Hades appears there. Seeing him, Perseus cannot control his wrath. He lifts a sword to kill him. But a girl stops him, gripping his hand. Then it is observed that Hades kills the queen mysteriously, moving towards her. Then Hades talks to the people of the palace. He tells, there will be a solar eclipse exactly after 10 days. And I will send a monster towards you. It will eradicate your whole city. But you have an option, as you can save the whole city while sacrificing the princess. Your whole city will be destroyed in case of not doing so. Now it is up to you what you do. He reveals a sensation there while going. He says to them, Perseus is also part of God. So they imprison Perseus at a place. There is the same girl who had stopped him from killing Hades, where he is imprisoned. She is charming and tells her name, Lo. She asks him, do you want to know how did you come into being? How are you a part of the gods? She begins to reveal an ancient story to him. She tells, there was a king who used to rule in the mountain area. Some gods wanted, due to some causes, this king should be ended. Zeus was compassionate, so he did not want to implement it. He thought to resolve the matters, using another way. He changed the king's wife into the mother of his son. When the king knew that he is an illegal son, then king throws the queen and his son into the sea, locking them into a coffin. But a lightning flashed with it, and he himself lost his life. She further says this is the cause that you are God along with the human being. She tells him, it was me who brought you to that fisherman. She tells me I was exactly the same as I am today. I am immortal, and it is my curse. Perseus ensures those people, I can face those monsters. So he moves there with some of the men and military. It is revealed here that the king who had thrown Perseus into the sea is not dead but has distorted. And he looked heinous. Hades says to him, going there, now the time has approached, that you may avenge Perseus. Actually, Hades was self-obsessed, and he wanted to snatch the seat of Zeus as being mighty. Contrarily, it is seen that Perseus and some of the people are moving there. A man is training him in swordsmanship. Then Perseus finds out a sword in the forest, and it was by Zeus. But Perseus does not keep it but hands it over to his trainer. There they observe the winged horse, Lo tells, no one ever rode on them. Perseus is also tapping them. Then that distorted king arrives there. A hard fight starts there between them. That heinous king bruises Perseus after biting his hand. The military also approaches there, and the great battle begins. They surround him, and Perseus's newly made friend detaches that heinous king's hand. Somehow, he runs away from them. His hand was bleeding. Giant scorpions were appearing where his blood was dropping, and they were equally attacking them. They were larger than human beings, so the military was finding it difficult to fight. A giant scorpion moves to Perseus to kill him. Then Perseus puts a shield before him while Lo cuts its leg, and it directs itself to Lo in rage. Then Perseus rescues Lo. Another soldier also ends the other scorpion. Meantime, more scorpions appear there. They begin to attack them. Then a group arrives there. Actually, it was a band of jinn. They stop all scorpions. Now it is witnessed that Perseus is paining because of that king's bite. He is shouting with pain. Then Jinn cures him through his magic. He says to him, I will accompany you. Then they all together go to the witches. They visited witches thinking it may be possible that they reveal monsters to them. Contrarily, they attack them and do not tell anything. They were sightless, but had one eyeball which was placed outside separately. Taking the eyeball of them, Perseus threatens them to reveal everything to him. Being frightened, they tell Perseus, there is one way to kill that monster. There is one thing that can help you to beat that down. And that thing is the head of Gorgon Medusa's head. She will be found underworld, but it will not be child's play to beat her down. They tell her, we know that you will play a losing game. Ignoring them, Perseus meets Zeus, coming back. Zeus hands him over a coin. Then he leaves from there. They reach the temple of Medusa while walking. A ship had to approach there to pick them up, which arrives with the help of that coin. Lo tells him in the ship, don't look into her eyes. Otherwise, you will be turned into stone. Medusa attacks them as they enter, and she begins to throw Perseus and Jinn into the fire. but Perseus rescues himself and Jin while entrapping his sword somewhere. On the other side, Medusa was changing the military into the stones. Perseus was aware of it, so he attacks her, closing his eyes. He boldly confronts her, and he beheads her. Perseus was very excited after having the head of Medusa in his hand, as he is going to show to the people coming from the temple. That heinous king kills low behind the scene. He says to his training, becoming an ignorant here, that, "Give me the given sword of Zeus." Then he fights with that heinous king, attaching with that sword. Then winged horse also appears there, and Perseus was the first one who rode on it. Riding it, he flies from there. Actually, he had gone to rescue that princess. Contrarily, Zeus is observed who had regained power after creating fear among people, and he had sent that monster there. He comes to know that Perseus is still alive, so he also departs to that place. The city people were already afraid, so they immediately bring the princess here to sacrifice her when they know that the monster had come there. On the other side, Perseus is seen who is coming here, taking her head. But some of Hades' creatures run away while snatching that head. Then Perseus pursues them. On the other side, it is seen that monster had created commotion throughout the city. Those creatures shrewdly bring Perseus to that monster, so that they may eat him or kill him. Being a wise man, Perseus rescues himself. He is flying after them on that winged horse and finally takes back that head. Now it is seen that monster appears in front of the princess when she is in a hanging position. It is going to kill her, but instantly, Perseus comes from the backside. He places the head of Medusa before that monster. Looking at Medusa's eyes, that monster starts turning into a stone. Here that monster had ended. But Hades had also arrived there. Perseus generates the lighting from the given sword of Zeus, and he attacks him with it. Because of it, Hades returns back to the underworld. But the princess also falls into the sea along with it. Perseus rescues the life of the princess by jumping into the sea. After a time, Perseus and that princess are seen lying on the seashore. They were lying unconscious at the seashore. At the same time, that winged horse restores their senses, coming there. Coming into senses, the princess is very impressed by Perseus. She says, "I liked you. So why do you not hold the seat of the king here?" He responds, "No. It cannot. I still need to go to Zeus. Congratulations on taking the seat of the queen." Zeus also asks him to be a god when he visits him, but he also refuses to accept it. Zeus reveals to him Hades is still alive. As being weakened, he has transferred himself into the underworld. He is waiting for that time, then the people will leave to worship God and he will get strength. The devils are strengthened when people are afraid of them. He tells, no human being could ever defeat him. But you are the one who knelt him down. And you have that magical sword and also that winged horse. I hand you over the third thing also. Saying it, Zeus is disappeared. Then Perseus encounters Lo. It means that Zeus had revived Lo for Perseus. And the movie also completes here.